And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. I was enjoying a 3-day relaxing weekend. I was supposed to go visit my grandmother in Minden this weekend. There was a food event happening. It's actually happening right now in Shreveport called Feast and Frolic that I was supposed to go to, but kind of decided not to. I was a little bit worn out. And after today, I don't exactly know when my next day off is. I think it's maybe in 2 weeks. I'm not exactly sure. So I decided to just kind of have a lazy weekend around the house. And lazy for me meant finally organizing me and my boyfriend's kitchen. I moved in with him a few months ago. And by move in, I mean that I kind of just took my kitchen stuff and combined it with his kitchen stuff, and to the point where we had no room anywhere or countertops. And that's what I spent yesterday doing. I was like, we're finally going to do this. We're going to get rid of stuff. We're going to put stuff in storage. It's going to happen. And I could tell that we both really like to cook because we both would have the same pot. And we would argue why we needed to keep this pot. Like, I was like, no, my grandmother gave me this pot. This is the only pot I boil potatoes in and eggs in. Like, this has to stay. Or he was like, no, my mom gave me this. Or he has it's a turkey roasting pan. Okay. And it was sold to him as a lasagna pan. And it is not a lasagna pan. It is a turkey roasting pan. But I got rid of my turkey roasting pan so he could keep his lasagna / turkey roasting pan, because even though he thinks it's lasagna, we're going to roast a bird in that one day too. So we did that. And then we also have an entire cabinet of spices, every vinegar known to man. And that's probably more my fault than it is his. I'll take the blame of that. And this is also my fault. Cooking fats. Since doing Whole30 and cooking with the different fats, we have an entire cabinet of that. And I even got rid of cooking spices because I'll do a lot of cooking judging events, and they kind of give us little goodie bags, and it always has seasoning blends in them. So I had 20 seasoning blends that I kind of just kept over the years because I was like, I'll never have to buy seasoning blends. Or if anyone needed a seasoning blend, I definitely had one. And I kind of just decided to get rid of it. I also had Bloody Mary mixes, like a ton of those. It was almost like an episode of Hoarders Kitchen Edition. But we made it through. Our kitchen looks gorgeous now. I'm so proud. I'm so ready to cook in it. I told Ben yesterday that it no longer gives me anxiety walking into the kitchen. Everything is nice and organized. But then I remembered that I probably still have more stuff in storage that I'm going to need to go through. So we'll have to deal with that too. Joining us tonight as guest co-host is our favorite server, Miss Jacquay Johnson. She is a server at Fonda's, and you've been in the service industry for how many years now?
Oh, gosh. Do we have to count them?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Wow.
Everything's better. It's like wine. Everything's better.
I know. I mean,
a while.
I guess we wouldn't count McDonald's, huh?
I would count that. I count when I worked at Sonic.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Since I was 16.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
And you love it. It's in your blood.
I guess so.
And you come on and we talk about server things. So have you ever had an incident of moving in with somebody and having to combine kitchen gadgets? Because you like to cook as well.
No. Yeah, it was really easy for me to get my stuff in there. And like the ex-boyfriend, I worked at Pier 1 at that time. So I had
everything.
A problem with spending my entire check getting kitchen supplies there. So yeah,
that would be dangerous.
I'm sure that he might still have some dishes too. I mean, I have several sets and things like that I would never give up.
I'm just still amazed that he got sold this pan as a lasagna pan, and it is clearly it even has the handles on the side.
I remember this pan.
Like when you think, Yeah, because I posted a picture because he made lasagna one time for me, and I posted the picture on Instagram. You can roast a 20-pound turkey in it, or you can make a 3-pound lasagna. He was mentioning, I love his lasagna. He makes wonderful lasagna, but he was talking about how it's a little bit expensive to make, and it's because he put so much cheese in it. But clearly, it's because of the size of your pan.
Yes,
like get a smaller. When I cook lasagna, I have that was another thing we had to combine. I actually did have a lasagna pan that's like Pyrex, and it's glass and clear.
Yes, so you can store it properly.
Right, and we both had one. But he likes to cook the lasagna in that turkey roaster pan. And it's so bizarre to me. But he says that's partially the secret.
He likes the crust better.
The success
with the metal.
of his lasagna.
I can see that.
Maybe I shouldn't be giving him a hard time about that.
Just let him call it a lasagna pan.
There you go. We'll keep it at lasagna. Okay, so I checked out Tao for the first time last night, and I was talking to you about it before the show. You have yet?
I have not been there yet.
I kind of felt like it was a tsunami on the south side. It's really beautiful in there, and they have the sushi. What I really liked was that they had ramen on the menu, and I got the garlic soy ramen last night.
Yum.
It was so delicious. The weather was a little, cooler, and it just kind of hit the spot. It was super garlicky. It had some saltiness to it, but not too much for me, so I kind of liked it. And the last few times that I've had duck breast in a restaurant, it's not been great, to the point where I was like, maybe I shouldn't order duck at restaurants anymore. Best cooked duck breast in a while. Super surprised by that. But it was delicious. They have different kinds of ramen there, and you can go and check it out. And we are at a shortage of ramen places in Lafayette, so it was good. I still like Shangri-La's ramen better. I think you were actually on the show last year when I had dined there, and I'm not sure if it's still on the menu or not. But the broth in that one was
so much richer,
and it was so the broth at Tao was like, it was almost black because of the garlic and the broth. The one at Shangri-La had this lighter broth to it, and it was like a bone broth, so you could definitely tell it was like marrow. It was really good. But exciting that we're getting ramen happening in Lafayette. All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Jacquay. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and joining us tonight as guest co-host is Jacquay Johnson. She is a server at Fonda's. We got a phone call going into commercial break, and I just want to remind everyone, yay that you're calling in, but I can't answer the phones while I'm working the boards. So if you have any questions or anything for the show, you can email me at lafayettefoodjunkie@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have, or we might go over it on the air. You never know. Something else that I checked out this weekend, I got to go to the farmer's market, and there's a vendor at the market called Good Nosh Roll, and they do these vegan paleo sushi rolls. And if you're doing Whole30 or anything like that, you can have these on that. Instead of rice, they use cauliflower rice, and then they have cashews, avocado, cucumber, and then they wrap it in seaweed. It was pretty good. It was on the lighter side. You can definitely tell it's a healthier roll. It reminded me, I was having problems remembering the restaurant yesterday, but it came to me today. Bonsai used to have a spring roll, but it wasn't what you think of as spring roll in the wrapping. It was like a lettuce roll, and it kind of reminded me of that. And I used to order it all the time there because it was just kind of lighter, and it was almost like a salad in a roll. So it was nice. And I like that they have these alternative rolls and things like that out there. Yeah, they're at the farmer's market every Saturday, and they don't think they're on Facebook, but you can find them on Instagram, and it's Let the Good Nosh Roll, and it's NOSH. So go check those guys out. I also almost ate an entire king cake yesterday.
Where was it from?
It was called La Fille Sans Chien et Pan. Again, another long name. And she's a vendor at the farmer's market. When we did our king cake blind taste-off last year, she was my favorite one. She had brought a Satsuma cream cheese, and it was really good. We opted for a chocolate cream cheese yesterday. We got the smaller one, so I didn't eat like a giant one. And I probably ate like a little over half. But her king cakes are so good. My boyfriend said that they reminded him of Keller's, and he really likes Keller's. And I've never had Keller's before because they always sell out. Yeah, because they're very popular. But no king cakes for you yet?
Not yet, but I mean, I'm sure I could get my hands on one. And my mom actually lives next door. Her neighbor who works at the Keller's, like in Youngsville.
Really?
So, yeah, we get goodies every now and then, and I'm never upset with that. So I'm sure I can make a request.
Who makes your favorite king cake?
I mean, I'm
Keller's?
still a Meshes girl.
Meshes, yeah. See, and I like Meshes too, but that's because I'm not really.
To be the one on Gilbo.
Oh, okay. Why that one?
I don't know, but it just tastes better from there.
It just tastes better.
It's just, I'm like, no, that's my Meshes.
It has to be that one.
Yeah.
Any particular flavor?
I'm not even a big cream-filled girl. Like, I'm like good with plain, a little bit of Bavarian cream, but it doesn't even have to be like an intense amount. Like, I'm really like after just the plain cake sometimes is horrible.
Well, okay, so if you get it from Meshes, though, and you don't get the filling, isn't it basically a donut?
Kinda.
So really, it's just a donut.
I just want to stick the baby.
A giant donut.
Yes,
with the baby.
That's why
in
you
it.
just do like half, and then I just need my own little portion.
And that's everyone's argument with that. And I'm actually a fan of the Meshes donuts because I typically don't like king cakes. What comes to mind when I always think of king cakes is from a grocery store, completely dried out, has a little bit of cinnamon through it, and this overly dyed sugar on the top that you can taste the dye on the king cake. And that's what I always think of as king cake. So Meshes was always the one that I really liked. However, last year we tasted some great king cakes. And this year, there's a lot of different variations of king cakes that are happening all over the place.
There's so many bakeries and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, why not give them a try?
A lot of places out of New Orleans, too, that are doing really cool things with king cakes. So I'm kind of changing my bias and perspective on the king cake. I recently posted on the Lafayette Food Junkie Facebook page this article about would you eat chicken sashimi, which is raw chicken. And I pretty much said, no, I would not. And pretty much everyone else agreed with me. And you're also...
Heck no.
Yeah.
I'm on that train. No way.
Now, someone did argue, and I agree with their logic, that it kind of goes with pork. Pork was always thought that you need to really cook it well. They've kind of gotten lax over that over the years. And depending on the quality of the pork, you can have it a little not as cooked.
Medium.
And it's okay. I'm still of the cooked pork camp too.
Yeah.
But chicken is supposed to kind of be on the same idea that if it was at a quality farming facility, not a factory farmed, cleaned, that you could eat it raw. And I do know some people out there that do eat it raw, but I don't know. I can't.
It
the
must
connotation
be the
of that.
most craziest hidden secret ever, because if I did know someone that ate raw chicken, I think I would be a little disturbed.
I've seen some shows on TV with some people that did eat raw chicken.
As long as they're not my neighbors,
right?
I'm good.
It also made me think about this, that my parents are in the process of getting chickens for their house, like to lay eggs. So
they have fresh eggs.
And they were talking about how, my brother was talking about how he wouldn't kill them to eat, but if one died, he would eat it. And I was like, why would you eat it? If it died, you don't know what killed it. It can have all kinds of diseases and everything. And then, you're ingesting that. And my dad's logic was, well, I mean, when you cook it, doesn't some of that come out? I mean, think about salmonella on it, and you cook it out and it's fine.
I would just need to consult a chicken farmer. And
I stand by I would not eat it if it died of natural causes either.
I have to agree.
You have to agree with that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't it kind of late already? You're You've been eating the eggs?
Well, yeah. Okay, that's another way to think about it too. Which also made me think, would you eat roadkill?
No, thank you.
Yeah, because there's people out there that do that too.
I think I did too many science projects in high school to where, yeah.
What if you hit a deer? Would you then take it to eat it? I would.
I mean,
after I get over my shock and panic, I would.
Hopefully there's some guy that take it and throw it on. I'd be like, can you just throw it on top of my Pathfinder?
Yeah.
I want to get the carpet split.
Stick it in my car.
Yes.
And
if I survive from hitting, yes, I think I would have to take it. As long as it wasn't like a doe or something, I think I would be traumatized.
So no does, only
I don't know if I could take the babies. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, that would.
There you go. And then I'm thinking of the chickens dying. If they died of natural causes, meaning that they're an old chicken, I felt like the meat would
be kind of tough.
Taste good as well. So
do you just make broth out of them or what?
Yeah, no. This whole logic of thinking about, would you eat the chicken and in what situation would you eat the chicken? And if you did eat the chicken, how would you eat the chicken? It's a lot of possibilities going on there. So Taco Bell's naked, still on topic of chickens, Taco Bell's naked chicken chalupa came out this week. And if you're not familiar, it's a fried chicken shell. And then they put chalupa sauce, cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes on the inside. Some Taco Bell locations in town did sell out. Have you experienced the naked chicken chalupa? You had not even heard of it.
I had not heard of it.
Yeah.
And then I rarely go to Taco Bell, but I do have some friends that frequent, and they'll be pretty excited to know about that.
We were talking about this coming out a few weeks ago on the show, and we were talking about that everyone has a place and time for Taco Bell, and my place and time for Taco Bell is 2 a.m. in the morning, and that anyone who says that they don't like Taco Bell is lying, because at some point
every now and then you're going to break down and get...
they need Taco Bell. And I happen to be a fan of Taco Bell. I like these crazy things that they do. I tried the naked chicken chalupa. It was okay. It wasn't life-changing. It wasn't, I want another one. The Dorito shell tacos are still my go-to there. Yes. That one is good. Like, I think that works better. I'm wondering, though, because this one didn't have meat in it, ground beef or anything, if they put like ground beef or like grilled chicken in it, if it would taste differently. And they're also apparently coming out with something called volcano chicken chips, and it's chicken shaped like Doritos with a dipping sauce that comes with it too. Okay. For science, I need to check it out and see and report back.
Sounds good.
What do you think about all these fast food restaurants coming up with these crazy, over-the-top food combinations?
I mean, it's so bizarre to me because I rarely go. So whenever I go and like look at these menus, I'm so like, oh my God, I didn't even know that they had this on the menu and stuff like that. I'm like, I am that person that will stand there. I need like 5 minutes to reevaluate the entire menu because I really have never seen it before.
That's why I try to research menus a lot of times before I go somewhere, because I won't make up my mind. I'll want 8 things and I have to have time to narrow it down to what I have. Mm-hmm. And then when you get there and they're like, so these are our specials of the night. And you're like, no, I didn't plan for this.
And then I want to know what everyone else got before I order too, in case I need to change something.
I do that too, because I have a rule. I try not to
order the same thing.
Right. So you can try everything out.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. And so we were talking about the animal fats that I purchased earlier. Yes. I also got duck fat for the first time, which I've seen places and it was ridiculously expensive. And they had some at Whole Foods and it was $9.99 a jar, and it was a decent sized jar. So I thought, why not? And I now want to cook everything in duck fat. I fried my eggs this morning in duck fat. It was wonderful.
Yum.
There's duck fat fries. You always do that. I'm going to roast some vegetables with it.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the duck fat?
I am. Like, we had copious amounts whenever we were at Cochon because we had a duck confit. So there was always duck fat around, and we would try to use it as many ways as possible.
What are some of the ways that y'all used it there?
We had like a duck confit. So
yeah,
it was just always around. So, I mean, we didn't always have like, we maybe do like fries or something like that and stuff sometimes, but that was always still like our major fat. We always had it around. Like it was.
I think I want to do a grilled cheese sandwich.
That doesn't sound horrible at all.
In it. Instead of the butter, just putting it down there like that. I think that would taste wonderful.
I mean, what could be wrong with duck fat and cheese?
Right. I couldn't eat bacon after doing Whole30. While I was on the diet, I could only buy the special bacon that was really not bacon. It was not pork belly. It was pork shoulder. And I described it as tasting like Spam with no salt.
Oh.
And I apparently had gotten so used to the taste that when I went off the diet, one of the first things that I ate was bacon, and it made me sick. And I was like, this is horrible. But I found some uncured bacon, again, at Whole Foods, and I was able to stomach that. So
okay.
One piece. There's no more 3 to 5 pieces of bacon for me in my life. That's my moderation, is one piece of bacon. But I'm at least happy that I'm getting back to normal, less expensive bacon. Because even though it wasn't, like I said, it tasted like Spam with no salt, it was very expensive bacon. So I would like to get some less expensive bacon in my life.
Something that'll last a little bit.
Are you a big bacon person, and do you have a specific kind that you like?
I do like bacon. Like if I do like French press, I'm like, oh, I want a couple of eggs and like bacon.
Because they do the maple, don't they do the maple syrup bacon?
So somebody needs to get that one, and then somebody needs to get the regular one so we can eat them all. But I'm like, I like thick cut bacon.
Yeah.
And I like to roast it in the oven so that it stays in a nice flat piece so I can pick it up and doesn't crinkle.
Do you like crunchy, or do you like your bacon to have a little bit of...
I like it to have a little bit of chew.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Like the oven's perfect to get that desired effect.
I don't like crispy bacon. And the bacon that I had that made me sick was crispy, so maybe that had something to do with it too. I find like...
textures.
Yeah.
Been bizarre.
All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Jacquay. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Acadiana has to offer. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and joining us tonight as guest co-host is Miss Jacquay Johnson, who is a server at Fonda's. Things have been busy over there for you guys, selling lots of margaritas?
It's been very busy. It's holiday season. We still consider it almost like holiday season with Mardi Gras and everything like that. So it's been quite busy with the balls and everything going on.
Do you get a lot of people that come before or after the Mardi Gras balls?
They come before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
They pregame there.
And then they
go to the ball.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. We both have never been to a Mardi Gras ball before.
I really want to go to one.
I do too. I kind of want to, just to kind of get an over-the-top dress.
Yeah.
And, have fun. But at the same time...
You're like, why would I waste all that money just to go and have a...
It looks fun. I have a lot of friends that they go to different balls, and it looks like they have super fun times.
Like, just save up just for one and be nice.
So every time you come on the show, we kind of talk about server issues and server things. And something that I just noticed, well, an article just came out about it, I should say. And it's not necessarily directed at servers either. I know that this in my field as well is becoming a fear after a recent conference that I just came back from, but it's machines doing your job. So they're about to have a Big Mac ATM to where you can just go boop, 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 put in, swipe your thing, and a Big Mac comes out. Like, you have no human interaction with it whatsoever. And then Wendy's is also putting in kiosks. So you're not going to even have anyone taking your order. You just go, you key in what you want, and you swipe your card. And both companies kind of said that raising minimum wage prices is prompting them to cut labor costs. And this is a way that they do that. And like I said, it's not just your field. I work in the medical industry, and I just came from a conference that was showing this robot that checked you in and like got all your medical history and
Where's
did everything.
my nurse?
Right. And, you know, it's that field as well. So do you think this would ever happen in a restaurant dining room other than like fast casual?
I would hope not. Like, I feel like that would take away from the actual experience of going to a restaurant. Like, you're going for entertainment.
Like, you're sitting down at a restaurant and there would either be a kiosk at your table or they have one of these robots that comes and says, hey.
No, thank you.
Yeah. How can I
give me a real
you?
person.
I feel like, and
because there's only so much a robot can do. Like, you can tell a real person exactly what you mean. Like,
I have this issue with outsourcing a lot. I deal a lot with health insurance agencies and having to call when there's a problem with how a claim was filed and paid, and you're calling and it's outsourced to another country and you're getting someone that can't explain anything other than what they're reading on the screen. Like, it's literally like, this is the problem and then this is your answer to it, and you keep trying to word it differently to hopefully get the kind of response that you're wanting, and it doesn't happen. And then it goes to, well, I need to speak to a supervisor. Like, and you have to keep going up the food chain until you can get somebody that can answer the question for you. So I kind of feel like that's how it would be with machines. Like, what if it's not an ABC situation? Like, what if it's an AXY, this certain situation Z, you know?
I got a food allergy right here.
Right.
Like,
so it would have to be like, how smart is this technology, and would it work across the board? And I feel like it wouldn't work across the board. I feel like in the South, it would not work well at all because we are a more friendly people.
Yes.
And we like to talk, and I don't want to talk to a robot.
No.
Like, I don't want to talk to a robot, especially in
a restaurant.
Doctor's office.
That too.
I can see maybe in a fast casual restaurant having the kiosk, like a grab and go situation, but not at a fine dining establishment.
I agree.
So maybe not work in every situation, but something that can potentially be coming up the road. And then something else that we've talked about before on the show is servers and wages, and it's about to come to the Supreme Court. Should servers share their tips with the kitchen? So some states have outlawed tip pooling because as it rolls now, it's the property of the employee.
Right.
But depending on the state's laws, some states did away with tipping and the employees get a higher wage. Or we are in Louisiana, it's where you still have a server wage, which is lower than minimum wage, and the tips are supposed to compensate for the wage. And they're kind of talking about, should you be allowed, or should you have to share that with the kitchen staff?
I mean, in our instance, I would say no, because they are getting paid by the hour and everything like that. And it's not like we're in a fine dining situation where, we might have an open kitchen or, we just pretty much have like line cooks and stuff like that. Like, not necessarily like chef on the floor,
right.
That kind of situation going on. So, I mean, in that type of situation, I can imagine possibly sharing everything like that.
Because I've had chefs on the show before that have argued that they feel like they should be getting some of the tips and that it would help with shortages in the kitchen because they're
still being compensated too.
Right. Because a lot of people are not wanting to work in the kitchen because they only make minimum wage. Like, they don't make more than minimum wage. Whereas the servers can potentially make above and beyond minimum wage, and they feel like that's not fair, and that the tip pooling would kind of even things out.
I mean, if it's like in my head, I could picture that if it was that type of kitchen and everything like that, where, they see it happening, and that's like part of like the ambiance and everything of like the restaurant too, and everything like that. Like, it would just be another person to tip out to. It's not like you're not tipping out to a hostess.
Yeah, because I was about to ask that. Do you guys have to tip out? Like, it depends on the restaurant, right?
We tip out. And I mean, everybody's tip out is different. We tip out to the bar and we tip out to our bussers. We don't have a host or anything like that. So.
Do y'all have to, or is that just something that you kind of do out of the kindness of your heart?
Yeah, no, we have to. Like, that's part of the job.
And is that at every restaurant, or it just kind of depends on the restaurant?
I think it depends on the restaurant generally, but I mean, most situations where you have everybody in those, other than like a mom and pop or something like that, generally there's some type, Applebee, all that kind of stuff is going to have tip pool. The hostesses get tipped out, like all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
It's all, yeah.
And another article was talking about the best and worst days for tips. So it's always thought that Sundays are the worst days for tips. However, people generally tip more for Sunday brunch and breakfast. However, Fridays and Saturdays are overall busier. So they're collecting more tips, but patrons aren't necessarily tipping as much.
Right.
It's just they're so busy that it's kind of making up for it. They're actually tipping more on Sundays for brunch. And then besides Fridays and Saturdays, every night besides Monday after 10 p.m. is good for tips. And then breakfast is the worst. And Monday nights are the worst.
Yeah, there's never anywhere Mondays that at least we have crawfish and stuff like that. So
I'm sure that's why traditionally a lot of restaurants are closed on Sundays and Mondays, because they tend to be the slowest days. And then the article also said that, like, if you work for a holiday, like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving days, the tips are better, but the holiday season in general is not good for tipping. And you were talking about at your restaurant at La Fonda's, Friday
mornings
busy.
Are very busy. Yeah.
And I found that surprising, but you said that it's...
Oh, yeah, just right by.
That's the day to be at La Fonda's.
That is the morning. You have to be there at 11 o'clock.
And you said that it used to be busier.
Yeah, whenever the oil field was busier, it was even busier. But it's still pretty intense in there. It fills up very quickly.
Is there a wait typically on Fridays?
Yeah.
So you say Friday morning. So and I'm thinking 9 o'clock in the morning. So when is this really?
We open at 11.
So 11.
So it's like our lunch rush.
Yeah. So it's like
intense.
lunch. So Friday lunches at La Fonda are where it's at.
Oh yeah.
And I've still not dined at La Fonda. And he's had. Rob Kirkpatrick was talking about taking us there. So
I work Tuesday morning.
Yeah. So he can totally take us there on,
everything will be there. I'm around.
Do you guys do any new items at all, or do y'all kind of just stick with the same?
We stick with mostly the same menu. Like now, once Lent starts, we have like some crawfish dishes that we bring back and everything like that, and they're pretty popular. It's like a crawfish cream sauce on the enchiladas and mini chimneys with a mini chimichanga with crawfish inside.
Okay.
And then it comes with like a chipotle ranch. It's really good too.
Do y'all slow down at all during Lent, or is it still?
Some people give up La Fonda for Lent.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like that's their give up thing?
Yes. They just disappear.
And then they're back.
And then they start to come back. And then you're like, oh, there they are. It's really just like it's a roller coaster. And there's some people that just come, or they might just given up drinking. But some people can't like be in there and
not drink.
Yeah. So they just give it up altogether. I mean, it's Louisiana for you, girl.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Jacquay. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and we've been talking with Jacquay Johnson at La Fonda's. So has La Fonda's been your favorite dining establishment to work for? I think, have you worked there the longest? I feel like you've been there the longest.
I mean, Coach Sean will still be my baby.
Yeah. Kyle Waters came on the show a few weeks ago, and we were talking about Coach Sean.
I adore him.
Yeah, we were talking about how
it really was a great place.
How much of an impact that had on Lafayette.
It was great. But yeah, it'll be 4 years next month, actually, because I started there whenever we had closed, and it was like around Mardi Gras, like whenever we had like a weird Mardi Gras like this, like in February. So yeah, time flies.
So Andrew Zimmerman was in town a few weeks ago, and I forgot to talk about this on last week's schedule. He was at BU's in Broussard, and if you don't know, that's the place on Highway 90 that's like, don't boudin, eat boudin sign. He was over there. I guess he's filming Bizarre Foods is filming again, and he came here before because he went to Maurice and he went to Soups and Maurice and A-Bear Specialty Meats over there. So, and he went to the Crowley area because he did some stuff with Donald Link's family. So, the Mo Water Country Store, I think he went there. So, I'm interested to see where else in the Broussard, Lafayette area he went for this upcoming episode. I just saw the meat shop post the picture of him on it. So.
Oh, cool.
Have you had boudin from BU's before?
It's been a while. And, it has to be if I'm going out there. See,
I live in that area now, and I've had it, but I had it in a hand pie because one of the vendors at the farmer's market, their boudin hand pie that they make, they use their boudin. I've had it that way, but I've never actually been in there to go and check it out. I'll have to do that.
A little trip, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of boudin places in Broussard. We always think of Scott as the boudin capital, but Broussard's got it going on too. They have a lot of boudin places over there, and plate lunch places.
Yes,
too.
They do.
Tons has the best breakfast biscuit sandwiches. Do you remember Mr. Cook?
I do.
Do you remember those biscuits that they had? Tons has Mr. Cook biscuits. They're still made from scratch. They're just it's home cooked biscuit.
Real.
What you miss from if you miss Mr. Cook, they have them over there. I will go that way sometimes and hit up the drive-through and check it out there.
Maybe they'll be on the Waiter app soon.
I think I've also heard that they have good hamburgers, and I mean they do different plate lunches, but I've heard that their hamburgers are good too. But I haven't made it over there for that. I'm just all about those biscuits in the morning. They're so good. You think LaFonda's will ever get on Waiter?
No.
They're too cool for that?
I think so. I mean,
could you imagine how much busier y'all would be?
We have a very strong clientele that comes in for to-go orders. And they don't mind calling it in, and they don't mind picking it up. And I think it would just make stuff more confusing.
Do y'all do the margaritas to go too?
Yeah. You could do a liter to go.
Do you think, because Waiter's trying to be able to start delivering alcohol, do you think that if that happens that they would sign up to do the world famous LaFonda margaritas? Nope.
I don't think so.
Gotta call in and get it yourself.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
We were talking about that last night, if Waiter did alcohol deliveries and who would be responsible, because you'd have to make sure that the person that you were delivering to was over 21.
Yeah.
Then would the drivers then have to get liquor licenses because they're transporting alcohol?
Yeah.
But I know that they're working on it, and it has good things and it has bad things too. So I'm interested to see how it pans out.
Well, I recently just did this whole online thing for Albertsons. And I guess there are some locations where you can actually have Albertsons delivery. Oh. And they keep track of what you buy, and you can add stuff. So you could pretty much make a grocery list and have someone deliver you your groceries. And I'm like, well, we need to go ahead and get that here because I've already downloaded the app and I'm patiently waiting I'm patiently waiting for it to be available in the 70506 area.
Waiter's supposed to be doing that too. They're wanting to get into the grocery delivery business.
I mean, if it's somewhere where I actually got the groceries and it's visual proof and I know that's what I bought and that's exactly what I'll get, I can deal with that.
Super Bowl's coming up. You having a Super Bowl party or attending a Super Bowl?
I'm sure I'll throw a little something together.
Do you have a specific go-to Super Bowl party dish that you make?
I make a couple. I usually make a mini slider or something. Stuff it with cheese, or I'll do different sliders. Last year we just had different toppings, but maybe this year I can do turkey and beef or something like that, or maybe even do or maybe even a chicken. That sounds good. And then chili if it's cold enough.
Yeah.
That way you can have chili, or you can have chili dogs, because they're just good on that day for some reason. As much cheese as possible.
I'm a chicken wings fan for Super Bowl
those are
parties.
in the freezer too. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot that I
too?
bought some. Yes, they're there. Those I always do. But I used to buy my own sauce, and one year I bought a Paula Deen sauce, and I thought that it was just hot, and it was something else beyond what I had even imagined. And I almost killed us because, I was like, I'm just going to make my own from now on because obviously I'm not good at reading the bottle. Just do my own spice level and everything like that because I like them just naked with like nice crunch on them.
See, I'm a fan. I just love wings. I'll just say that in all forms. I like fried chicken wings, like the little fried chicken wings, like the little drumettes or the little tiny wings, or I do like a sauced one, but I like a milder sauce. I like the mild. If I get the buffalo, it's like a mild sauce or like a garlic Parmesan.
Give me dry. I like just a dry rub. Sometimes, they're really good. Like at Smitty's, their dry rub is excellent.
I've heard that they have good wings.
They're
I have
awesome.
not checked them out there.
They're really good.
I'm also a fan of dips for Super Bowl. I've been seeing a lot of dips on Facebook that you can make in your slow cooker, and always a fan of a cheese dip.
I'm like, and I've been, or just like, I like this little layer dip too with like, your beans and all that good stuff and everything like that. Big old Scoopy chips.
I'm looking forward to seeing what commercials. That's my favorite part of the Super Bowl is to see what commercials they come up with because that's the fun for me.
I'll be watching both aspects, but
I'll be on air doing the radio show, so I won't get to see it. Maybe me and the guest that comes on next week will have our own little Super Bowl party in the studio.
Indeed. It'll still be on when you leave.
So are you familiar with the pizza burger at Dino's that they have?
I have heard of it. I've never eaten it, though.
Okay, if you're not familiar with it, it's a hamburger, and instead of the buns, it's pizza, little mini pizzas, but it's like cheese size up. Well, I saw a video online. It was like, I think it was Munchies, and it was like over the top pizza burger. And it was talking about the company burger in New Orleans teamed up with Pizza Delicious, and they make a pizza burger. And I was like, well, wait, we've been doing this in town for a while now. But instead of doing cheese side up, they do cheese side down to eat it that way, which makes more sense in my mind because you can actually pick it up and eat it. And the cheese is working with the meat, like a binding agent. Yeah, it's a binding agent to kind of pull it together. So it's more of a hamburger-esque. So I was going to ask you if you'd be a fan of cheese up or cheese down. I
mean, the cheese down sounds way better to me and doesn't sound as messy.
Yeah, I was dining with a girl who ordered it, and I think she had to eat it with a fork and knife because it was a little too much. But the cheese down, I was like, oh yeah, I would totally eat it that way too. But I just want to say that Dino's in Lafayette has been doing that Munchies.
Much longer.
The company burger and Pizza Delicious may have gotten more notoriety for it, but we've been doing it in town.
It's been existing.
So check that out. Also, want to shout out Taco Sister's second location is opening on February 8th. That is a location across from La Fonda's and Social. And they are going to be having dinner service and serving alcohol. They're going to be serving beer and margaritas. I'm a big Taco Sisters fan, and I'm super excited that they're doing dinner service. And they're going to be right across from where you work. So you're going to be checking it out a lot?
I mean, whenever I leave from my place of work, I'm really not looking to go eat at another Mexican restaurant most of the time.
But it's not really Mexican, though.
I know. That's why I'm like, I could get my little brisket taco or whatever. I'm in the mood for it sometimes, but it's not. Like, I almost forget that it's like right there. It's just an awkward, like right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if they're going to be serving breakfast like the other location because they have really good breakfast too. And then the truck does something called Dirty Dip, and I don't know if it's something that they have on the menu all the time or if it's just for festivals. But it's like a bean dip, and you eat it with Zapp's potato chips, and it's just great too. So I would be like, put that on the menu too.
Doesn't sound horrible.
And I'm curious about these margaritas too. I mean, to check them out.
Bring it.
Jacquay, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffiany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.